When you think of China, do you picture Shanghai's alien skyscrapers or the Great Wall? That's the China on the brochure, impressive, futuristic, and always trending. But that's just the surface. Behind the neon cities and bullet trains, there's another China, rural, slower, and full of contradictions. Here, a rooster might be the loudest thing for miles, and a 90s TV sits next to a 5G router. Rural China isn't just endless fields. Though yes, there are a lot of fields, it's where the country's soul lives, in misty mountains and ancient villages. Traditions aren't just history, they're daily life. The biggest drama? Whose pig is the fattest? This is the China that rarely makes the news, but it's where the real stories are. Less Blade Runner, more My Big Fat Chinese Wedding, with extra chickens. So, let's step away from headlines and explore the countryside, where life moves at the speed of a wandering water buffalo. We'll dive into legends, daily routines, and the hilarious ways old traditions meet new tech. Forget what you think you know about China. We're going off script, off-road, and maybe a little off our rockers. Ready? Let's discover the real China. If you think rural China is all Tai Chi at sunrise and rice paddies, think again. The reality? It's hard work, sun up to sundown, and sometimes longer. People rise before dawn, not for meditation, but because the pigs are hungry. Life revolves around the seasons, planting corn one month, harvesting tea on steep hills the next. It's not just farming, resourcefulness rules. Someone's running a noodle shop from their living room, another's raising silkworms, and someone else is the village's go-to tractor fixer. It's a family affair, 3 generations in the fields, grandma directing, parents lifting, kids chasing chickens. It's organized chaos, but it works. Everyone has a role, and every role matters. Forget the lone, wise farmer. This is a buzzing communal hustle. Arguments over garlic planting techniques are louder than any meditation. It's tough, demanding, and full of purpose. Ancient knowledge meets modern tools, and resilience is the real tradition. Life here is anything but quiet. In rural China, family isn't just important, it's the operating system. At the top, Grandma, the real CEO, running the show with wisdom and zero filter. She decides everything, from dinner recipes to marriage choices. Elders are the living libraries, consulted for every big decision, from building a house to settling disputes. This creates a tight social fabric. Everyone's connected, everyone's accountable. Perks? There's always childcare, a hot meal, and a village ready to help if you're sick. Downside, privacy doesn't exist. Your love life is public knowledge. But things are changing. Young people return from cities with new ideas about independence. They want careers, choices, and maybe less cooking advice from grandma. It's a gentle tug-of-war between tradition and modernity. The result? A slow dance between family loyalty and personal freedom, all under grandma's watchful eye. The family matriarch isn't just respected, she's the village's beating heart, and she's not giving up her throne anytime soon. Every culture has legends, but rural China's are uniquely hilarious. Take the noodle-stealing dragon of Sichuan, a tiny noodle-obsessed dragon who'd sneak into Old Man Wei's kitchen and slurp up his famous Dan Dan noodles. Instead of fighting it, villagers left out a nightly bowl, hospitality over heroics. These stories aren't just for laughs, they reveal a worldview where humans, spirits, and nature negotiate their coexistence. You don't fight the noodle dragon, you feed it. It's just good manners. Every village has its own quirky legends. Fox spirits playing tricks, sacred trees granting wishes, river gods demanding rice wine. These tales aren't just bedtime stories, they're woven into daily life. They explain the unexplainable, teach lessons, and add magic to the mundane. Folklore here isn't about fear, it's about understanding and living with the supernatural. The noodle dragon isn't a threat, it's a neighbor with a big appetite. These legends make the world richer, funnier, and more connected. They're not in textbooks, they're in the stories shared over dinner. In rural China, myth and reality blend seamlessly. The result? A culture that's endlessly inventive and deeply human, and always ready with an extra bowl of noodles. China isn't just one country, it's at least 2. There's the hyper-modern city and then there's the countryside, a world apart. For city kids, visiting their grandparents' village is like time travel. From facial recognition payments to 3-wheeled scooters and the weekly excitement of the mobile vegetable seller, the culture shock is real, and it goes both ways. City life is fast, efficient, and anonymous. Rural life is slow, communal, and intimate. In the city, you're a stranger in a crowd. In the village, everyone knows your business. The divide isn't just economic, it's cultural. The government is investing in rural development, but bridging values and lifestyles is harder than building roads. Millions of city workers come from the countryside, sending money home and living between two worlds. They're the bridge, navigating progress and tradition. The challenge? Finding balance between instant gratification and deep-rooted community. The connection runs deep, even as the gap grows. China's story is one of contrasts, and the people moving between these worlds are writing the next chapter. It's a tale of two Chinas, forever intertwined. Modernization is rolling into rural China, sometimes gracefully, sometimes like a bull in a china shop. Picture a centuries-old village with a 5G tower looming behind it. The ancestors are watching, and now they have Wi-Fi. Elderly farmers use smartphones to check crop prices or video call grandkids. Inside, an ancestral shrine sits beside a giant flat-screen TV. Young people sell local produce online, blending ancient farming with modern marketing. But the transition isn't always smooth. You'll see solar-powered street lamps on dirt paths, drones flying over hand-tilled fields, high-tech meets old-school sometimes awkwardly. The government pushes smart agriculture, but reality is messier. Tradition and technology are learning to coexist, sometimes clashing, sometimes harmonizing. The village is still the village, just with better signal. And that changes everything, and nothing. Think legends can't get weirder? Meet the drunken phoenix of Yunnan. This phoenix didn't rise from ashes, it raided the village distillery for potent rice wine. After a night of drinking, it'd fly wobbly circles over the rooftops, singing off-key. Instead of shooing it away, villagers took pride. Their wine was so good, even a mythical bird couldn't resist. They named their strongest brew Phoenix Firewater, and made the legend part of their brand. These stories aren't just funny, they connect people to their land and craft. Brewing rice wine becomes legendary, a source of pride and identity. The phoenix wasn't punished, it was celebrated, flaws and all. These tales embrace imperfection and find humor in it. You won't find them in guidebooks, only by sharing a drink and listening to locals. Here, myth and daily life blend, making the ordinary extraordinary. The lesson? What you do here matters, even to the divine. Rural China's magic is in its stories, its humor, and its humanity, and sometimes in a tipsy bird with great taste. That's culture you can't bottle, except maybe as rice wine. Postcards show rural China as perfect, misty mountains, serene lakes, golden rice fields. The reality? It's beautiful but also messy and complicated. Next to ancient temples you'll find half-finished concrete buildings. The postcard skips the hard parts. Young people leaving for cities, aging grandparents, unpredictable weather and economic struggles. It misses the environmental pressures and the constant tug-of-war between heritage and progress. But it also misses the joy, laughter at festivals, pride in a good harvest, and neighbors helping each other after a storm. The real beauty is in the people, their humor, resilience, and community spirit. Rural China is gritty, loud, and full of life. It's not a painting, it's a living, breathing story. The postcard can't capture the grit or the grace. That's what makes it worth exploring. The real story is always more interesting than the picture. Why should you care? Because rural China is where you'll find the real stories. The ones that surprise, challenge, and delight. Seeing the terracotta warriors is cool, but sharing a meal in a village and hearing about a noodle-stealing dragon? Unforgettable. Travel here isn't always comfortable. Slow transport, rustic bathrooms, language barriers, but that's the adventure. It forces you to slow down, connect, and find common ground beyond words. The best memories come from unscripted moments, a shared smile, a mysterious dish, a story over rice wine. You'll discover hospitality, resilience, and a sense of community that's rare in the West. You'll see how global change reaches even the most remote places, and how people adapt with creativity and grace. Rural China complicates the narrative, adding layers of humanity to a country often seen only in headlines. So get lost in China's backyard, embrace the awkward, expect the unexpected, and come home with stories better than any souvenir. The real adventure is in the people you meet, and the tales you bring back.